Welcome back, guys. So, in our Appium series, we will see topics today. So, that is the Appium capabilities. So, now what is exactly the capabilities? In Selenium, we have few capabilities to run a specific test cases into to run these test cases into specific browser. Let's say on Firefox or Chrome or Internet Explorer, we need to specify the capabilities, browser capabilities, so that we can redirect our test cases into the required browser. Okay, so the same way Appium provides few of the Appium specific capabilities for both Android and iOS. So these capabilities determine the test cases to run on which device. So is it on Android or iOS? Now, how do the Appium, what do you call, kind of identify the devices based on the capabilities that we will provide? Okay, and for that there are few capabilities, and these capabilities are kind of a key value pair that we need to provide in the code. And once you run the IPM test cases, depending on the capabilities that you will set, it will run the test cases into those specific devices. Okay, so if you go to this particular link, you will get the few capabilities. So I'm not kind of listing down those things because Appium provided these capabilities in a very good format. So let's utilize that, and I can quickly go through one by one, and which need more what do you call kind of more steps to determine that, we can just discuss those things, and the rest things we can just pass on quickly. Okay, so as you can see, the automation name. So automation name is basically you need to provide if your test cases is to run on Android, that is UI Automator 2, or on iOS, that is XQtest. Okay, so if you mention automation name as a key, and then value would be UI Automator 2 if it is for Android, and if it is for iOS devices, you need to set the XQtest. And then platform name is basically for either you need to provide Android or iOS. If platform name you are mentioning Android, then you have to specify the automation name as UI Automator 2. Okay, if it is iOS, then you have to mention XQtest. So that is the combination of that. Platform version is basically what which OS, which version of OS you are using. If it is Android, then you kind of have to mention which is the that version name. Like we have 8.0, 9.0, 10.0. So these are the recent versions that you have to specify. And the same way for iOS, we have 12.0, 12.2, like those iOS versions you need to mention. Okay, so here basically automation name, platform version are kind of a mandatory things, because this uniquely identifies where exactly your test cases has to run. Okay, the same way we have device name is kind of here you can see the example. If it is for what do you call your Android devices, then you have to specify what. If it is real device, then the device name. If it is not a real device, then you can just say adb space devices, then it will give you one output on the command line, and that you have to mention on the device name. The same way with respect to the iPhone devices, like you can mention iPhone 4, iPhone X, iPhone XR, like those things you need to mention. Okay, and app is one of the key what do you call in the capabilities. So let's say you have a apk file for the Android, and ipa file .ipa or .app file for your iOS devices. Let's say your developer or your DevOps team has provided you the apk file for Android, and you want to install that. So Appium has the capability, you can install the application on the fly by using the Appium. So either you can launch your simulator and install that manually. If you don't want to install that manually, you kind of what do you call normally for the automation, what you can do, you can write a shell script to launch the simulator on the machine, and then you can go to that particular APK repository where you can download and install on the device. And these things you can do by using few of the shell script. You can automate those things. So uh, like if you don't want to what you call manually install or want to write the shell script, what you can do, you can keep your simulator always launched on your machine, and then you can use this app capability, and you have to specify the path of the apk file. So as you can see here, the path of the apk file, or you can mention the ipa file for ios devices. Then what will happen, these applications will be installed on your simulators before running the test cases. So that is what the app key will be helpful. Okay, and here you can see they have given a few what you call descriptions. Note that the capability is not required for android if you specify app package and app activity capabilities. So it's kind of, and here it is telling that it's not compatible with the browser name capability. So let's say you want to automate some of your applications on the browser, then you don't need this app, because the app capability is basically meant for the native application for your android and ios. Okay, so that is what it is meant. So again, another thing, if you give this app, then you may not need the app package and app activity also, because the app key will determine which application we have to work on. We will see the app package and app activity in few time after this. Okay, and browser name, so as I told, browser name is used if you want to what do you call test any application on your browser. So you have a url and you want to test that, like in the normal browser you are doing that. Okay, so app and browser name is kind of two different things. If you are specifying browser name, you don't need the app key. Okay, and new command timeout is basically what it is telling, how long Appium will wait for a new command. So let's say there are few things your simulator wants to wait. Okay, so there are few things. So let's say if you are giving if you're not specifying this one, let's say new command timeout, you are not specifying, and your simulator is staying idle for some time, what will happen? Your app will minimize, so it won't stay launched always. So that's why I would recommend sometimes to new command timeout, always put it as 0, so that what will happen, whenever you are what do you call keeping your app idle. So let's say there is something you want to wait for, uh, you want to wait for some time to identify an element. So your system, your app is staying there idle, right? So it will minimize. Okay, but if you specify new command timeout as 0, then it will wait for a long time, so it will not minimize your app even though the app is idle for some time. So this is again one more handy what do you call handy capability when you uh, automating your Appium test. Okay, so far what we discussed is kind of the important what you call capabilities that I found so far, and there are few more things like language, local, and these are all app specific. I never encountered these things to use in my application, but if you're what you call testing any region or language specific, you might need these things. But yeah, these are all optional things. UDID is kind of what do you call, you will get these UDIDs to identify your devices. Okay, so as you can see here, unique device identifier for the connected physical devices. But if you give device name, then you might not need that one. That's what I've found out. So without UDID also you can run your scripts into the simulators. And if you want to run with some orientation, let's say if any of your so few applications normally work with the landscape orientation, then you can just provide the capabilities at the beginning as a landscape, and then it will run your test cases. Okay, and then no reset and full reset, these are, so as you can see, no reset, it says that don't reset app state before this session, means it will not reset your app actually, so it will stay that session as it is. Okay, and then full reset, kind of a complete reset, so whenever you will open again next time, it will kind of from the beginning again you will get your app. So that is what, so it will not retain your session at that moment if you make the full reset as true. Okay, and event timing is basically not required, and enable performance login, print source, I don't think so these things are required. So far whatever we have discussed, these capabilities are general. It means that these are applicable for both Android and iOS. Okay, but there are few capabilities that Appium provided for specific to Android and iOS so that you can uniquely identify them. Okay, so one thing is the app activity and app package. So this is main what you call feature of the Appium, because the app package and app activity determines on the app, so which screen has to launch, and which, because see in your mobile, uh, whenever you are launching a mobile and running your test, you will get many applications installed, right? So how do you know, how does the Appium know on which application it wants to what you call run the test cases? So to identify that, Appium provided Android specific app activity and app package. So I will show you how to get those app activity and app package. So if you are working on some real time applications, you can ask to your what do you call your developers. They can provide you the app package and app activity. Even you can get it from your source code. So there is an XML. If you get the source code, that XML will I think that is activity XML or something, where you can get all the details of the activity. So activity are basically each screen will be assigned with an activity. Okay, so let's say you want to go to the home screen, you want to launch the application with home screen. Okay, then that is basically you have to provide the app activity as home activity. I'll show you how to find it out. And if you want to, let's say that always you want to launch your simulator with the app on the from the login screen, so you can provide the login activity. So with respect to the screen, you can get the activity and mention on the activity value so that it will launch there. App package is basically kind of Java packages. Kind of package is a what do you call parent folder, and under that you will get all the activities. So let's say home activity, so home activity could be a part of a particular package. Okay, like that. So let's see how we can get the app package and app activity before proceeding with other capabilities. Okay, so let's go to the next slide. So here you can see how you can identify the app package and app activity. So there are two ways basically. So if you are using, let's say any other, okay, so let's first discuss about the Windows operating system. So if you are using Windows operating system to, what do you call, to automate the Android, what do you call, applications on the mobile devices, you can run these three, what do you call, scripts. So one is ADB space devices, which will give you the list of devices that is currently running, and this determines that the simulator is up and running. Okay, so ADB cell, so it will enter into the shell script mode, and after that you need to run this shell script. So this is dump sys. So dump is basically pull out the result with the windows, and then you have to use a grep command, m current focus and current app. So what does this basically do is that currently whatever application is focused on your simulator. So let's say I'll give you a small example. Let's say you want to automate the or you want to get the app package and app activity of the calculator application. So what you need to do, launch your simulator and open the simulator app, calculator app on the simulator. Now what is happening, your calculator app is on focus. So whenever you run this command, what it does, so grep is a search command. So currently whatever app is focused on your simulator, it will get that details and dump it on your output, and from there you can get the app package and app activity. But this is only specific to your Windows operating system. Let's say you are using system, sorry, Mac operating system. So what you can do, these commands will not work, but what will happen, you have a apk info, it's a what do you call application. You may not get, I think you will get it from the Play Store as well, and if you're not getting, also you can just search apk info.apk file, and then you will get, there are what do you call, sites which you can download this app and you can install on your simulator. So I can show you a real quick a demo. So here is the APK info app which looks like. So if you click on this, what will happen, it will list out all the application that are available on your simulator or on the real device also, and this will be what do you call, helpful on your real devices also. So let's say I want to get the details of the calculator, right? So I can search the calculator. Here you can see, so if it is installed on your simulator, it will display here. Now long press on this particular thing, so you will get a context menu, and you have to go to the detailed information, and let me zoom it, and you can see here the package is com.android.calculator2. So as I was telling, this is the parent package or parent folder. In that you have actually two different what do you call, activities. So one is the calculator activity and another is licenses. So if you see here, there is no package specific sections, but com.android.calculator2 is common, you can see here. So that is nothing but your package, and after that the last string that what you are getting. So when you say dot calculator as a activity, it will open the calculator screen. But when you say app activity as a licenses, so whenever it will launch, the Appium will launch the app, it will launch with the licenses screen as a what do you call, as a launched option there. So let's say you want to sum two numbers, then you might need to be what do you call, use this package as calculator 2, and then calculator as a with a capital C at the beginning, that as a activity. So this is one of the way, like be it on Windows or in Mac operating system, you can use this what you call apk info dot apk file, and this is really handy. And this is not only helping for the applications that are system based like your simulator based, but any third party applications also you are installing, you can get the details. And like as I told at the beginning, the best option, if you can get the information from the developer, then you can use that. Okay. So this particular way which I'm currently talking is helpful whenever you are practicing some of the what do you call, available open source apps. Okay, so like that we can get the information. Okay, so app package and app activity, now we are clear. And then app wait activity is kind of, it will wait for certain time to get that activity. But I think this is okay, like your splash activity, because splash screen kind of takes some time, right? So those things. Okay, and then let me see if anything else we need. Okay, here you can see one good what do you call, your capability is the Android install timeout. So what happens whenever we are installing certain APK to the device, so it can wait for certain time. So you can say timeout in millisecond used to wait for an app to install. Yeah, so like as you can see here, 90 seconds it will wait, but if you want to change something, you can change that. And what else? Let me see. I don't think so anything else is required. But yes, these are Android specific. Like if you are using any browser specific, what do you call, capabilities, then you can use Chrome driver executable directory. If it is not on the default, you can use that. And yes, these are all specific to Android, which we can ignore that. And let's quickly jump into the what do you call, your UI Automator 2 is basically your what do you call, automation name. And let's move into the iOS specific capabilities. Okay, so for iOS only, that is nothing but for your automation name that you are entering for XQA test. So let's see the few of the capabilities that are required for your iOS device for running the tests on the iOS devices. Okay, so here you can see calendar format, like if you want to what do you call, set any kind of specific calendar format, then you can just use this capability. And then there is a bundle ID. So like for Android, as you can have seen the app package and the app activity, the same thing bundle ID is for your iOS devices. Okay, so let's see how to get the bundle ID. Okay, again the same way, like if you are working on within a team where your development team is with you, or it is on the client location, then you can request to your any one of the development team and they can provide you the bundle ID. Let's say you are not getting the bundle ID from your development, or you are practicing on your own with the any open source iOS applications, then you can use there are different ways which you can get the bundle ID of an application. Okay, now one more thing with respect to the iOS applications is that so Android application you will get a APK where you can just use that, because Android is being open source, right? So bundle ID you the APK, so you will get very easily. But whereas iOS is kind of a restriction. So one thing is that if you have a .app or IPA file with you, then it is easy for you to install on the simulators. If you don't have a specific what you call .app or .ipa file that your developer is not hosting anywhere, then you have to build it from your app source code. Okay, so for that let's see how we can get bundle ID of an iOS application. Okay, so here is the way that you can do that. So as you can see here, to identify which mobile app to launch and test, so for so it's basically bundle ID is for that. Okay, so for iOS what you can do, so let's say so you have a .app file, let's say that. Okay, so your whenever your developer basically what you call deploys the code into the Git or somewhere, they do a build on the by using some Jenkins or any other tool, Circle CI or something, and then it creates a .app file, and let's say that is hosted on your Firebase. So let's say you got the .app file. Now you are keeping at the desktop that you have downloaded from that particular site, and now it is with you. And then if you want to get the bundle ID, then what you can do, you can open the terminal. And one thing to note is that whenever you are dealing with iOS, then you need to have a Mac operating system. So far I know like Windows doesn't support the iOS simulators. Okay, so you have to open the terminal on your Mac operating system, and you have to type this particular command, OS script. So this is the command, and then -e, and then single quote starts, and then you have to say ID of app, and then in double quote you need to give the full path of the .app file. Okay, so I will show you one small demo of how. So I have one open source app actually that is with me. So if you are practicing, let's say iOS, and if you have a Mac operating system, I will share this link. So iOS UI catalog is one of the open source application. It's a small utility on the iOS devices you can install. Okay, so you can clone this one. So once you clone this one, you need Xcode to build this particular code base to what do you call to get the app. Okay, so I can show you a quick demo on that. So let me open the Xcode. So you need to open that. So open another project, you can say, and then you have to go to the location where you have downloaded. So let's see that this is my folder where I have downloaded, and then open it. Once you open that, it will start indexing that one. So as you can see, it is succeeded, and we have already discussed about how to create iOS simulator. So here you can see Xcode provides default what you call simulators already, so you need not to set up anything. Let's say I want to launch the app into the iPhone X device with a 12.2 as a OS. You can choose any one of from the available list. Okay, and then there is a play button here, you can see, just click on that. So what this will do, basically this will build your source code, and it will create the app file on your machine, and it installs that app on your device. Okay, so so when you build a source code of the iOS, it does two things. One is installing in the app into. So first thing is that it will create a .app file. It will create an application first, and then it installs on your simulator. Okay, so as you can see here, it's starting. So by that time it installs properly. Let's see from where you can. So you have what do you call, opened that Xcode, and you have opened that project and build it, but where exactly it is creating? So let's see that. So you have to go to your user folder, that is this one, and then you have to go to the library. After that you have to go to the developers, and then here you can see something called as Xcode. After that, derived data. So here whatever the source codes so far you have built, so build by using Xcode, you will see those things here. So mine is UI catalog, right? Just now I have built that one, so there is a build folder created. Under that you will get a products, and then debug iOS simulator, and here is something, the UI catalog application. And if I open the simulator, it is already installed, that one. We will use this particular application in the upcoming video sessions for few gestures, and to automate the application by using Appium. Okay, so keep this what do you call, this application handy. Okay, so let me close this simulator. I don't need now. I just open this one just to show how you can build that. Okay, and you can close the Xcode also. You don't need now. Now, for better practice, what you do, you copy this particular what do you call, app, and paste it into the desktop for easy use. So I have already done that one, so that's why. So I won't copy it again. Now close this one, stop task, and now what you need to do, you need to open the terminal, and you have to execute that particular command. So what is that command? So that is OSA script. Okay, and then hyphen e, single quote starts id of app, and then double quote starts here, and then closes single quote. So under this, as I told, you need to, so I am currently in my user folder. So after that I need to go to my desktop. So let me open that so that we can see. So go to the desktop, and there is this UI catalog. So here is this one. So let me right click on this, can press option. Here is something, you can copy UI catalog as path name. So if you copy this one, you will get that complete path, and I can paste it here. And then just to make sure that it's proper. Okay, and let's enter, and here you can see, so this is nothing but my bundle ID. Okay, so that is the way. So if your developer is not providing, then you can get the bundle ID by this. So this is quick, one of the easiest way to get the bundle ID. UDID again. So you have few Xcode XC. So when you install Xcode, you will get the XC run command. So by using that, you can get the list of devices. Okay, and from that list of devices, either you can give the device name, like in the Android we have discussed, right? If you are giving the device name, then you might not need the UDID. But still, if your Appium is not running on specific devices, then you can use the UDID. So each device, be it on Android or iOS, it is associated with what do you call, one UDID. So for iPhone X, for iPhone, what do you call, for different versions of the iPhone devices or simulators, there will be a UDID. So you can provide, like you can see the one of the example. So you can give a capability value as UDID, and then the value of that. Okay, and then lunch timeout is the same thing, amount of time to wait for the instruments before assuming it a hung or failing the session. So it's kind of what do you call, so before your it will hung out, you have to wait a specific time actually to need to give actually to launch your application. So you can give that. Basically it is not required. I mean, that should be fine with these things. And here is something, auto accept alerts. So if you get any kind of location access, contacts, photos, so whenever you open a new application, so let's say, because every time we normally install a new application, right? When you install the Appium, new application means new versions of your app, actually iOS app. So whenever you install the app, it basically asks asks you to what do you call, to provide few of the permissions like a contact, like location, and all those things. So let's say whenever you are automating and whenever you are running the application, Appium test on the application by using Jenkins or something, you don't know when exactly those permissions are required. So at that moment, what you can do at the beginning of the, before running your Appium test, you can say auto accept alerts and true. So if you give that, then it will not give ask you every time the permission. So whenever you get kind of those alerts, it will accept automatically. So that this is one of the, what you call, benefit of your. So for iOS, as we have seen, bundle ID, that is must actually to give which application you want to run the test, and then auto accept alerts, and then let's see if anything else is required. And Safari, so Safari, like Chrome is for Android simulators or Android devices, right? The same thing for iPhone devices, you have Safari as a default browser. So that's why these are all Safari specific, what do you call, capabilities. And then let's see if anything else is there. Okay, so these are all what do you call, capabilities. Now these are all theory part, right? So far we have seen. In our upcoming videos we will see how we can actually utilize these what do you call, capabilities to launch our simulator. So stay tuned with our upcoming videos and do subscribe and share with your friends. Thanks for watching.